box. I mean, all these
Had to be an
spaces,
addition, yeah.
just massive. And so what they've done is to try to figure out how those elements fit around those pieces, and then use some of your administrative pieces or your breakouts in the main building. There's things where the rec has said, hey, we have the Snap franchise, and so Snap Fitness could go
Right.
in the Warden.
Yeah.
The developers want a restaurant, so that could go in the Warden. The black box can use some of the ancillaries, some of their ancillary program can go in the Warden, and then use the east entrance as kind of a grand art gallery, all kinds of things that go into the cultural center component, which is the black box theater. So we've tried to mix it up, and actually it creates some very interesting space. The main entrance from the Warden on the south becomes then the highlight point of where you can look into the rec and see the pool. You know, just those kinds of things, and a lot of glass around the rec, which there's about a 20-foot difference in elevation from the northwest corner to the southeast corner if you take that whole thing. And so you're actually on an upper level of the rec center. You're about on the same level as the track when you're walking on street level. So it's just, there's so many different things that go on when you look at this thing in section, but it all fits very nicely. So there's a couple of options on the table. There'd be like a 3-story or a 4-story, and the 4-story of course is in the 40 million range. But it all does fit within the Carver parking lot, 10th Street, and then where the Wakanza was.
You know, that Carver parking lot though, I think is for the Carver building. It's
It
owned
is.
by them. So, and I don't know that they're gonna wanna give up their parking, so your big downside is not having parking for that rec center. And I'm not sure I like the idea of putting it there because of that. Cause at one time I know the proposal was to put it over where the old Fairway store was.
Right.
And I personally think that'd be a better location.
Well, and that's part of the option is that, so did everybody hear that okay, is the Carver parking lot? That's one of the reasons, so we needed to say, what could work? So this isn't done. I mean, we're not gonna go put the shovel in the ground, but what could work? That's the only way that this does work. And where this came from is to say the developers are looking for what enhances the visibility and the accessibility and the amenities of the residential component. Something like this would. So we've learned that the Wakanza site isn't enough and the 10th Street just isn't enough. So it's one of those things where conceptually it would need that Carver parking lot, but potentially if you had structured parking in say even east of that or south or north somewhere that connected all of this together, that's how you would make up for that parking loss. And we have a struggle because it couldn't go to the south because we have the historic funeral home, we have the cross street connector and all of these things, and you have the restored Wakanza then to the north.
Which is that old garage to the south of the Warden too, that could be used.
Absolutely, exactly. And so those are kind of the things, we're just trying to kind of balance all the constraints to say what would work. A good question.
And that was always used for, that Warden owned that for a long time, that parking garage, and they'd rent spaces inside on the roof, along the
Exactly.
side.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's on our map to say what if. So, yeah.
All the parking you're talking about is just ground level parking, not a ramp or anything?
Current today, it's all ground level everywhere. But what would likely need to happen, and we don't know how we pay for this, we don't know how it would look, or we don't know where it would go, but you'd have to look at some sort of structured higher density parking